Hello, everybody. Welcome to the May 1st, 2023 Finance Committee meeting. We have a full house and a very long agenda today, so we'll do our best to get through things as quickly as possible. Some housekeeping notes. If you're here to make some public comment, please approach the podium, press that button. When the light comes on, please identify yourself for the record. Also, please make sure to have your cell phones on mute or vibrate. And Mr. Royball's running a few minutes late, so he'll be here momentarily. With that, I'll call on Jen to please read the first item on our agenda.
Number 6B, application for a bar and grill liquor license filed with the city clerk's office for FAFO Restaurant Group LLC doing business as Doghouse Restaurant, 3838 Atkins Street, Cheyenne, Wyoming.
Staff report, please.
Mr. Chair, Chris Jones, City Clerk. The application before you is to reopen the Doghouse for and they're just requesting that they get their bar and grill liquor license back. And I'd be happy to answer any questions you might have.
Thanks, Chris. Stand by. And we heard a lot of comments from the folks who were reopening Doghouse at the last meeting of the governing body. Is there any comments from the public on this item?
Hello, this is Morgan Amberson. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Morgan, go ahead.
Okay, great. I'm one of our owners from the Doghouse, and I just wanted to answer any questions that you may all have. I apologize for not being there in person, but I'm sitting here waiting for a delivery.
Understood, Morgan. And even if you were here, you probably would have a tough time finding a seat. With that, are there any questions from members of the committee for Ms. Amberson? Dr. Aldridge.
Chairman White, through you. Amber, I was just curious, what does FAFO stand for?
It is just an acronym that we all came up with. And I'm trying to think of what we wrote it down. We just kept the acronym. I apologize. It's written down in our notes. I will get back to you about that.
Okay, I was just curious if it had some sort of meaning. Thank you.
Any other questions? Hearing none. Any other comments from the public? Do I have a motion from the committee?
I would so move.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Comments from the committee? Hearing none. All those in favor for this application for a bar and grill license, please signify by saying aye.
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 No one's opposed. That item moves forward. Next item, please.
Number 10, ordinance third reading, amending chapter 2.04, mayor and city council within title II, administration and personnel, and chapter 12.04, street sidewalks and driveways generally within title 12, street sidewalks and public places of the municipal code of the city of Cheyenne, Wyoming to amend provision governing contract approvals.
Staff report.
Good afternoon, Chairman and committee members. TJ Bartlebort, Purchasing Manager for the City of Cheyenne. The proposed ordinance before you is on third reading. This ordinance seeks to revise the thresholds for contracts which require governing body approval. We've had great discussion at last Finance Committee meeting and at City Council last week, so I'll save our time as best as we can and happy to answer any other questions or provide any information you have at this time. Just confirming we're seeking to raise that approval threshold to generally $75,000 across the board for revenue contracts, public works improvements, professional services, generally the varying types of contracts that this governing body reviews, raising all those thresholds to 75,000. So available for any questions you have. Thank you.
Thank you, TJ. Questions for TJ? Hearing none, do I have any comments from the public? Thank you, Vicky. Any comments from the public, Jen? Hearing none, do I have a motion from the committee?
I would so move to approve on third and final reading.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Comments from the committee? Hearing none, all those in favor of this ordinance, please signify by saying aye.
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 As no one's opposed, that moves forward. Next item, please.
Number 11, ordinance third reading, amending ordinance number 4429, updating the City of Cheyenne solid waste fee schedule.
Welcome, Ms. Nemechek.
Vicky Nemechek, Public Works. Again, this is on third reading. We are doing our annual increase for our solid waste rates. As a reminder, those rates will increase by 1% for residents. That will include trash, recycle, and yard waste. Commercial trash will increase by 3%, commercial recycle by 5%, the landfill per ton cost by 3%, the transfer station drop off by 2%, and roll off containers by 3%. And I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. Stand by. Questions for Vicky? And again, we did have great discussion on this at last city council as well. Comments from the public? Hearing none, do I have a motion from the committee?
And move to approve on third and final reading.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Comments from the committee? Hearing none, all those in favor of this ordinance on third reading, please signify by saying aye.
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 No one's opposed. That item moves forward. Next item, please.
Number 15, resolution authorizing submission of an application to the Wyoming Water Development Commission Groundwater Exploratory Grants Program for the Bore Wellfield Expansion Project in the amount of $400,000 and authorizing the Director of the Board of Public Utilities to execute the application and all related documents.
Or sorry, staff report, please. You gotta hit that button, Frank, and make sure that light's on. There you go.
Sorry, red means no to me. Sorry.
Here it means yes. Go ahead, Frank.
Frank Strong, I'm the engineering manager for the Cheyenne Board of Public Utilities. This is an application we're submitting to or have submitted to the Wyoming Water Development Commission for the construction of 2 additional well casings on the Belvoir.
Stand by. Questions for Mr. Strong? Dr. Aldrich?
Chairman White, through you. I was just curious, is this in preparation of, or will it provide water for the gold mine project?
Through you. No, this will not provide any water to the gold mine. This is our next step into be able to expand into the Belvoir. We previously applied for funding to do the whole project at like 10.5 million. Water Development came back, said we'd like to see the other 2 well casings drilled first and recommended we secure this funding.
Thank you.
Thank you. There are no more questions for Frank. Comments from the public? Hearing none, do I have a motion from the committee?
Mr. Chairman, I would move to adopt.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Comments from the committee? Hearing none, all those in favor of this resolution, please signify by saying aye.
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 No one's opposed. That moves forward. Next item, please.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Frank. Good luck.
Number 17, resolution adopting the City of Cheyenne's annual action plan 2023 prepared by the Cheyenne Housing and Community Development Office.
Staff report.
Good afternoon. I'm Deanne Widoff with the Cheyenne Housing Community Development Office. The Housing Community Development Office oversees the city's community development block grant entitlement funding from U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development. The City of Cheyenne is required to develop an annual action plan. For program year 2023, the City of Cheyenne's entitlement allocation is $448,011. In addition to Cheyenne's entitlement allocation, the Housing Community Development Office is utilizing approximately $107,091 in recaptured funding. This action plan provides recommendations for 6 projects and demonstrates that the citizen participation plan was adhered to. Program year 2023, the Advisory Council is recommending that the following projects be funded. Public service projects, Comio, Journey Program to Self-Sufficiency, $38,750 to provide for electrical and medical assistance. Needs, Crisis Food Assistance, $16,250 to provide food baskets. Safe House Victim Emergency Fund, $10,000 to provide emergency assistance. General Service Projects, Comia, Women's Storm, $85,000 Tier 1, $150,000 Tier 2 to provide for the expansion of the Women's Storm. Habitat for Humanity, Street Sidewalk Curb and Gutter, $160,000 Tier 1, $190,000 Tier 2 to provide for the installation of Wills Road. Habitat for Humanity Home Rehabilitation, $60,500 to provide for homeowner housing rehabilitation. Program Administration, $89,602. The annual action plan for program year 23 was written. A 30-day comment period was held requesting input from Cheyenne residents. No written comments were received. Are there any questions?
Thanks, Deanne. Stand by. Questions or comments from the committee? Dr. Aldrich?
Chairman White, I just wanted to say a huge thank you to you and to Renee for making sure that this nearly $500,000 is going to go to work in our community to help those that are most in need.
Any other comments or questions?
Ditto.
Duly noted. And we did hear, we were able to see all the wonderful organizations in our community that were going to be recipients of this funding, and a very impressive list who do a lot of very important work in our community. Is there any comments or questions from the public? Looks like we do have a comment.
Good afternoon.
Nope. There you
Red,
go.
okay, same problem.
Yep. Red means yes, you.
Right. Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee, Dan Dorsch, Executive Director for Habitat for Humanity of Laramie County. I just want to take this opportunity to thank the Housing Community and Development Office for the opportunity for us to apply for these funds that are going to be a benefit to the community and our city. So again, thank you to that office. Thank you to Renee, and thank you to Deanne as well. And thank you all.
Thank you, sir. There are no other comments. Do I have a motion from the committee?
I would move to adopt.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Comments from the committee? Hearing none, all those in favor of this resolution, please signify by saying aye.
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 That moves forward. Thank you. And thank you to Deanne and Renee. Next item, please.
Number 18D, lease agreement between the City of Cheyenne and Union Telephone Company for telecommunications operations and tower maintenance, revenue to the city.
Staff report, please.
Stephanie Foster, Cheyenne City Attorney. What you have before you is a lease agreement between the City of Cheyenne and Union Telephone Company for a telecommunication, for lease of property for a telecommunication tower at Bremer Park. This is similar to what we have on Dell Range and Story. Union Wireless has been really great to work with on this particular lease agreement. It did go through the Board of Adjustment in October, and now that the ground is finally unfreezing, they're ready to go. And I am open to questions.
Thanks, Stephanie. Questions for Ms. Foster? Hearing none. Comments from the public?
And I may have Andrew on Zoom, I'm not sure, from Union.
I think let's do a motion from the committee, and then I'll address any comments or questions from the committee. Do I have a motion from the committee?
Chairman, Mr. Chairman, I would move to adopt an amount of $15,000 per year for 5 years.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Questions from the committee? Dr. Aldrich?
Thank you, Chairman White. I was just curious. You said it's going to be similar to the one at Dell Range and Story.
There's one on Dell Range and there's one on Story.
Okay, not Dell Range and Story.
Yeah, right.
Okay,
No,
I was
there's-
like, I didn't
yeah.
know those even crossed. Okay,
Well, they
Thanks.
could eventually, I don't know.
thanks.
Any other comments from the committee? And Stephanie, I hope you didn't jinx us by saying the ground was unfreezing.
Same.
Yes. All those in favor of this lease agreement, please signify by saying aye.
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 That item moves forward. Next item, please.
Number 18E, a memorandum of understanding between the City of Cheyenne and Laramie County School District Number 1 to provide transportation services for the summer rec camp program from Recreation Programs Fund.
It's a great program. Staff report, please.
Thank you. Jade Hursting, Community Recreation and Events. I run the childcare programs. This is our annual MOU with the school district to provide buses to all of the many field trips we take them on. We keep them busy. We do utilize one of our own bus drivers. So we have a bus driver that works with us in the school year, and she does now work with us in the summer, but the rest of us are the full-time employees, and there's no way for us to run what the kiddos are doing and manage that and drive. So we do have to rely on the school district to transport us, but I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Thanks, stand by.
You're welcome.
Any questions, comments? Hearing none, comments from the public? Do I have a motion on this MOU from the committee?
Mr. Chairman, I would move to approve.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Comments from the committee?
Yes, sir.
Dr. Aldrich.
Chairman White, through you, I just wanted to say thank you because we know that childcare is in a very short supply in our community. And it does impact our economic diversity and our ability for parents to be employed. So helping those children be able to stay busy and not become troublesome is helpful. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Ditto.
Did you get that, Jen? Ditto from Mr. Escobar. All those in favor of this MOU, please signify by saying aye.
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 That item moves forward. Next item, please.
Number 18F, memorandum of understanding between the city of Cheyenne and Cheyenne Frontier Days Incorporated for the use of city-owned land and buildings for parking, camping, and other activities during the 2023 Cheyenne Frontier Days celebration. Revenue to the city.
Staff report. Jason, I can't believe it's only 10 weeks away. So
Mr. Chair, Jason Sanchez, Community Rec and Events. This is an agreement we've had for many years with Cheyenne Frontier Days. The only real significant change in this is that we're increasing the dollar amount that we're both applying from parking revenues to be applied toward the fireworks show in July. Other than that, it's a pretty standard contract that we've had for many decades. And Mr. Hersig is also in attendance if you have any questions for CFD.
thank you. Stand by. Comments or questions? Dr. Aldrich.
Chairman White, I'm just curious, Jason, will this $29,000 cover the expense of the fireworks show or is there still an outstanding balance? And I saw Mr. Contos is here today too. Yeah.
There. Tom Hersig, CEO Cheyenne Frontier Days. Mr. Chairman, through you. So the fireworks show, the approximate cost of it is right around 29,000. So we consider that first 14.5 the city's share, and then Cheyenne Frontier Days pays the other 14.5.
Thank you, Mr. Hersig. Any other comments or questions? Hearing none, do I have a motion from the committee?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Comments from the committee? Hearing none, all those in favor of this MOU, please signify by saying aye.
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 That item moves forward and we're looking forward to a great show this year. Next item, please.
Number 18G, agreement between the city of Cheyenne and CareBridge Corporation for the Employee Assistance Program, EAP.
Staff report.
Good afternoon, Finance. Darren Hass, Human Resources. This is our EAP provider. It's a new one. We're looking to make a change this year. We've had a great partnership with our previous Dr. Post, Jerry Post. Jerry is retired about a year and a half ago. We found the services have gone down since he's retired. So we did go out to bid and looked at a few others, and the recommendation is to go with CareBridge this year. Thank you.
Thanks, Darren. Stand by. Questions? Dr. Aldrich.
Chairman White, thank you. I have several questions here. One is that I noticed in this contract, unlike, I don't remember seeing this in last year's contract, that they have a critical incident rate. That's $225 per live video or on-site hour plus travel. They have the same day response is $270, immediate response is $300. Is this a new clause in this for this provider or in this provider by this provider?
Through you, Chair. We did have that through Dr. Post. It just wasn't ever utilized. And those are instances where we have maybe we have a death within a group or division or a fire department dealing with some terrible stuff, that this is what would cover that.
The other question I had is, it looks like CareBridge, and I don't know if you have anybody that is available to answer this, or you can get us this answer, but it looks like a lot of their services may be delivered remotely because there's a lot in here about telephonic counseling. And I'm most concerned about addendum B that says, number one, test artificial intelligence coaching. So 24/7 access to a CBT-based artificial intelligence coach providing smartphone texting conversations to assist individuals with their emotional concerns. I'm just really concerned that we have an AI or a chat bot that's handling our employees that may have emotional concerns.
Through you, Chair.
Yes.
We do have a Zach on with CareBridge. I can answer a portion of that. There is some providers that are also with our Blue Cross network that are local here. And it's a much more expanded network than we have to Dr. Post. So there is access here, but yes, a lot can be done through a verbal telecommuting. But I'll let Zach answer the other.
Zach?
Yes, hi. Thank you for including me on the call. Yeah, to answer your question, we consider ourselves at CareBridge a people first EAP high touch. And our first mode of preferred support for your employees will be for them to call our 24/7 call center, where they'll get intake. We'll get them to a counselor immediately for in the moment support. Those other resources we have that are digital, such as tests, the chatbot, and being able to do stuff online is just a resource we provide. We always would prefer the call our line for support to get immediate support. The test AI chatbot is something that we can disable if the group would prefer it. And it's also trained to identify any high risk, like keywords or anything like that. If the employee, for example, God forbid, somebody came across and said they were suicidal and something like this, it does red flag it and escalate it to someone to reach out. However, like I said, if test is a concern, it can be disabled. It's just another option. And in our preference would be the last option. We prefer everybody to call since we are 24/7 live, 60 live support.
What? Good. Yeah, Zach, for the record, could you identify your last name, please?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm sorry. I didn't realize it wasn't on there. My name is Zach Zaglinski. I'm a VP of Sales and Business Development with CareBridge.
And also for the record, welcome, Mr. Roybal. I think we're currently on item 18G. There's absolutely no way. Go ahead, Dr. Aldridge. Any further questions?
Thank you, Chairman White. I understand that chatbots can have a purpose and have a place. I just am very concerned that if we had someone that was in need of care, that they would first have to access this through a chatbot and then be forwarded on, if they were using high risk terms like gun, suicide, kill, things like that. I'm just wondering if you might be able to, if this is adopted, that we'll be able to track some data and see if it's even utilized or not. And is there a difference in price if we choose not to use the artificial intelligence coaching?
I can answer that. Would you
Go
like me to
ahead.
answer that? Yeah,
Yes,
I can answer that. So the chat is included in the PAPM price, so it is nothing additional to have it. And like I said, we can turn tests off, like we can disable that, and you would get utilization reports on this of how many folks are using it, if it is something that you decide you want to be used. So I understand the concerns. And like I said, we treat tests as like a last option. We are 24/7, 365 live answering. So we would prefer that individuals call us first and get that immediate support. So we just offer it as another option. And if it is something that you would prefer is removed from your services, we certainly can do that. But yes, we'll give you reporting and it is not an additional cost.
Anything else, Dr. Aldridge? Okay. Mr. Escabel.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair, through you. Along the lines of data, other than utilization, is the city collecting the other employee data?
Well, if I can respond, with Dr. Post Associates, we did receive a quarterly report. It was very vague because it's all confidential information. I'd say 70 to 80% of the calls are all around mental health, mental well-being. So we'd receive the number of calls, but we wouldn't get details of breakdown, whether it was, a grievance or a spouse issue. It wasn't broke down to that.
And I think HIPAA might have something to do with that. Any further questions? Hearing none. Comments from the public? Hearing none, do I have a motion from the committee?
I had moved to approve.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Comments from the committee? Hearing none, all those in favor of this agreement, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? No one's opposed. That item moves forward. Next item, please.
Just for the record, can I clarify, Scott, you're not voting on this item, correct? Okay.
So Mr. Royball's and abstaining. Next item, please.
Number 18H, professional services agreement between the city of Cheyenne and AVI Professional Corporation for the design of the Dry Creek dredging and maintenance project from 2019 to 2022 optional 1% sales tax fund.
Staff report.
Good afternoon, Chairman White and members of the Finance Committee, Tom Cobb, City Engineer. As indicated before you is a professional services agreement between the City of Cheyenne and AVI PC. And this is not only just for design, this is for project management, design itself, topographic surveying, plan development and planning services. And differences in the years past, we've done single. This is a 2-year contract for them to lay out 2 years with the dredging projects. The first component right now, I'm going to say AVI was selected based on our standard SOQ process. So they had teamed together with Anderson Consulting, who is a high-end drainage firm out of Fort Collins, which we've used before. Those two have partnered together for this. The components we're looking at this summer are on Dry Creek from College to Ridge, on Henderson Ditch, and also a little component south of Del Range, also on Dry Creek. So those are the 3 primary focuses, and we're going to have a package out by the fall of this year. So that'll be our first dredging. And then next year, those projects will be to determined. With that being said, the contract is for $199,601.50. And again, it is a 2-year contract. And if you have any questions to me, I'd be happy to answer them.
Thanks, Mr. Cobb. Stand by. Questions for Mr. Cobb? Dr. Aldridge.
Just a comment, Chairman White, through you. I just want to say how much I appreciate you including the Henderson drainage ditch, and my constituents will be thrilled.
Other comments? Comments from the public? Hearing none, do I have a motion from the committee?
And move to approve an amount not to exceed $199,601.50.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Comments from the committee? Hearing none, all those in favor of this professional services agreement, please signify by saying aye.
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 That item moves forward. Next item, please.
Number 18I, professional services agreement between the city of Cheyenne and AVI Professional Corporation for the Public Works Improvements Project from 2019 to 2022 optional 1% sales tax fund, solid waste fund, and the fleet maintenance fund.
Staff report.
Good afternoon, Adele Bartel, Public Works Staff Engineer. For the amount of $265,290, AVI has agreed to prepare designs for the repair and improvements of various concrete and asphalt pavements for the transfer station, traffic building, landfill, municipal building, street and alley facility, and fleet maintenance facility. I'll be happy to take any questions.
Questions from the committee? Hearing none, comments from the public.
Mr.
Oh,
Chair.
sorry, Mr. Roybal.
Is this just for the design? They're not actually putting any concrete in yet?
Yeah, so you sure? Yeah.
Thank you.
Comments from the public? Hearing none, do I have a motion from the committee?
And move to approve an amount not to exceed $265,290.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Comments from the committee? Hearing none, all those in favor of this professional services agreement, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
No one's opposed. That item moves forward. Next item, please.
Number 18J, pipeline easement agreement between the city of Cheyenne and Samson Exploration LLC for the installation and maintenance of pipelines on city-owned property, revenue to the city.
Staff report.
Yes, Jean Vetter, Parks and Greenway Planner. This is a pipeline easement agreement between the city of Cheyenne and Sampson Exploration. I believe that someone is on our Zoom link to discuss this. It's essentially, I'm here before you because it's crossing our CB and Q property that we purchased out behind the Prairie Wind generating station out by JL Ranch. Again, Sampson is here to discuss the issue further. We did make sure that this pipeline would not mess with any further construction or future construction of Greenway out there. Happy to answer any questions.
Thanks, Jeannie. Stand by. Questions from the committee. Mr. Cobb, did you have anything to add?
Yes, sir, Mr. White. I just wanted to make sure that everyone was new. Part of this is I was going to acquire an appraiser for this to be able to get the value that Sampson would pay to us. And they, of course, would reimburse us for the appraisal and the amount that the appraiser comes out for. I would ask this committee to postpone this for 2 weeks because the appraiser is busy and was unable to get this completed. So that would be my request of you.
Thank you, Mr. Cobb. Any questions for Mr. Cobb? Hearing none. Comments from the public? Please go to the podium and identify yourself for the record, please.
Troy Smith on behalf of Sampson. I think we're okay with delaying this for a couple weeks for the appraisal. It isn't going to get in the way of our construction, but we are looking to construct by July, first week of July. Do you guys foresee any issues with being able to move this forward before July so we could commence construction?
Well, with a 2-week postponement, I wouldn't think that would be an issue.
Okay.
Mr. Cobb, do you agree with that?
I would concur with that. I don't think 2 weeks should affect your July schedule.
Okay.
Great. Any further comments from the public? Do I have a motion from the, oh, sorry.
Michael White, through you, Mr. Chairman. Could the Sampson Exploration Companies tell the public what's being transmitted through the pipeline?
Yes, sir. This will be moving natural gas from the Sagebrush well pad, which is just south of I-80, and down to Roaring Forks Gas Processing Plant, which we call the Chalk Bluff Processing Plant, just south of Chalk Bluff Road.
Oh, thank you.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, hearing no further comments, do I have a motion from the committee?
I would move to postpone this item for 2 weeks. I'm sorry. Okay, I would move to adopt this item.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded.
I would move to postpone this item for 2 weeks.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to postpone this item for a period of 2 weeks. All those in favor of the postponement, please signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Okay, it's been approved to postpone for 2 weeks. Next item, please.
Number 18K, memorandum of understanding between the city of Cheyenne and Climb, Wyoming to provide employment opportunities for Climb, Wyoming participants within the city of Cheyenne.
Ms. Nemechek.
Vicky Nemechek, Public Works. This is an agreement between Climb, Wyoming and the city. Climb, Wyoming is a statewide nonprofit empowering low-income single moms by providing free training, mental health counseling, and job placement in 6 Wyoming communities, including the city of Cheyenne. Climb, Wyoming is currently operating a program in Cheyenne to train CDL drivers. And the best part is Climb, Wyoming will provide the city with reimbursement for work performed by Climb, Wyoming participants if we hire them, up to 40 hours per week for a period of 12 weeks. And I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thanks, Vicky. Stand by. Comments or questions from the committee? Dr. Aldridge.
Chairman White, through you, first and foremost, I just want to say that I think Climb Wyoming has a long history of providing this type of training, and that the city has been able to partner and collaborate on behalf of to fill our need for CDL drivers. I really appreciate your department thinking outside the box and being willing to invest in these young women. So thank you.
Our pleasure. I hope we've got one transit driver part-time. We're hoping for some more drivers.
I agree, Vicky, with Dr. Aldridge, and in my former life at Workforce Services, I worked extensively with Climb Wyoming, and certainly know all the great work they've done throughout our state over the years. And when I saw this item, I was just thrilled that the city of Cheyenne was going to do a work experience program with Climb Wyoming. Couldn't be more proud of either the city or Climb for doing something like this. So I'm just really happy to see this.
Our pleasure. We're excited about the agreement, and I'd like to thank the city attorney, Stephanie Boster, for her help with this.
Any other comments or questions for Vicky? Comments from the public? I believe we have a representative from Climb Wyoming.
Hi, Angie Lund, Business Liaison with Climb Wyoming. I did want to just bring that there are a couple of edits to the document. And I don't, is here where I would bring that? Okay. Thank you, Stephanie. I was wanting to edit the 12 weeks. It is actually 6 weeks work agreement that we provide. And then it's still 40 hours, but it's 6 weeks instead of 12 weeks. And then the other, I know we started this conversation with Vicky and the team, and what I would like to propose is also entering in an edit to other positions within the city so that we don't have to come back every time we're wanting to do a work agreement. So I was wondering, we do administrative trainings, we do we do all kinds of trainings. And so I kind of wanted to just make sure that we could edit that into being other positions within the city and not just CDL. And I'm not sure if that it can be done with this one or if we would need to do another one.
I believe you can get a substitute agreement before Monday night with those edits included, and then we can vote on that.
All right.
Thank you, Ms. Lund. Any other comments from the public? Hearing none, do I have a motion from the committee?
I'd move to approve.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Comments from the committee? All those in favor of this MOU, please signify by saying aye.
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 That item moves forward. Next item, please.
Number 18L, memorandum of understanding pursuant to resolution number 6316 between the city of Cheyenne and the Children's Museum of Cheyenne for infrastructure enhancements from 2021 specific purpose option tax fund.
Staff report.
Stephanie Boster, Cheyenne City Attorney. The council knows a couple of weeks ago, it passed a resolution authorizing the use of optional 1 cent sales tax 6-penny funds for the Children's Museum. This memorandum of understanding spells the obligations of the Children's Museum and utilizing that funding and reporting back to the city that it was properly and appropriately spent, and also the city's responsibility in funding those projects. I landed at an MOU because it seemed more appropriate than a contract. The Children's Museum has reviewed it and has agreed to it, and I am open for questions.
Questions for Ms. Boster? Hearing none, comments or questions from the public? Hearing none, do I have a motion? Excuse me.
Not quick enough.
Sorry.
Good afternoon. My name is Caroline Veit, President of the Board for Children's Museum. Mr. Chair and the rest of the Finance Committee, I'm here to thank you for the positive vote for the resolution to the from the whole council that provides funding for the infrastructure enhancements on the Children's Museum property. This will offer a significant impact on the capital building funding. This work will be done as our contractor, 5R Construction, sees fit in the project timeline over the next few months. I'm here today to ask for your support of the MOU proposed by our city attorney and reviewed by the Children's Museum. And I'll remain for any questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Veit, and I see a lot of construction work going on the site, and I'm thrilled to see progress there.
Thank you.
Any other comments from the public? Hearing none, do I have a motion from the committee?
And move to approve an amount not to exceed $288,250.
Second,
It's been moved and seconded. Any comments from the committee?
Mr. Chair.
Mr. Escabel.
And we had talked about this a little bit during goal setting on the Pat block. Particularly, I'm very excited about how it's coming along. The other half of that block is probably doesn't mix real well with children, but hopefully in the future, the city can continue to go down that avenue of that Lincoln Way beautification, and the Children's Museum is certainly a part of it, even though it's one block off of it.
Thank you. Any other comments from the committee? Hearing none, all those in favor of this MOU, please signify by saying aye.
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 No one's opposed. That item moves forward. Next item, please.
Number 19B, contract modification number 4 to contract number 7427 between the City of Cheyenne and Russell and Mills Studios Incorporated for the East Cheyenne Community Park Master Site Development Plan from 2017 specific purpose option tax.
Staff report, please.
Mr. Chair, members of the committee, Jean Vetter, Parks and Greenway Planner. Parks and Greenway Planning has been working on plans to begin construction efforts at the Kiwanis Community Park. These plans include a detention pond, constructed wetlands, open water area that will provide all detention needs for future improvements to be made at the park, as well as improved wildlife habitat and water quality within Dry Creek. The project will include gravel walking paths surrounding the wetlands detention area, 2 blinds for observing birds, and educational signage describing the Kiwanis Park Master Plan, wetland, riparian area, wildlife, water quality, and park history. The contract modification before you is for additional consulting fees relative to design revisions that were necessitated by permitting requirements of the Wyoming Department of Environmental Quality, United States Army Corps of Engineers, and State of Wyoming Engineers Office. The increased fees include environmental assessment to be performed by HDR for existing wetlands. The fees also include bidding and construction administration for construction of the project. With approval of this contract modification, it is expected that final construction documents can be completed and approvals can be obtained from Wyoming DEQ, US ACE, and the State Water Engineers Office by the end of this year or early next year, and construction can begin in the spring of 2024. Wyoming DEQ has suggested that this project with approved permits would be a good option for a 319 grant for water quality available through their office. This grant would be a 60-40 match with funding from $20,000 to $300,000 potentially available. Kiwanis Club of Cheyenne will support this project with $80,000 in park sponsorship funds. Cheyenne Audubon Society and Cheyenne Greenway Foundation have committed $5,500 to support the bird blind portion of the project. I'd be happy to answer any questions you have.
Thanks, Jeannie. Questions for Ms. Vetter? Dr. Aldrich?
Chairman White, through you. I'm just curious, Ginny, if we have reached out to any other conservation groups like Ducks Unlimited or the Conservation Conservancy about grants that might be available for this project.
Chair, through you, Councilman Aldrich, I haven't gone there yet. I was kind of looking for the big pots of money first. We also have an opportunity through what's called the Jane Musser Fund, but they max out at $35,000, and this project is looking to be in the realm of about $350,000. So DEQ did offer some options as well. So I think once we kind of get this water quality grant pinned down, I'll look for some other grants that will be probably smaller, but will add up to something really big.
Other comments or questions for Jeannie?
Mr. Chair, do you?
Mr. Escabel.
I know that we have the wetland area that's currently there closed off and we're still getting people that are going in there with their dogs, excuse me. That I don't know what more we could do. It was our hope that early on we could have some type of a fenced dog park within the Kiwanis East Community Park. So dogs and birds, they don't mix. We all know that. And I think that in order for us to protect that southern portion of the park, that hopefully in the northern part of it, we can have some type of a dog park.
Chair, through you, I can't really answer that right now. The idea of the dog park did come up during the master plan process. It didn't make the cut, if you will, for the master plan. But we can certainly, keep it in mind.
Other comments from the committee for Ms. Vedder? Hearing none, comments from the public.
Michael White, through you, Mr. Chairman. Jeannie mentioned the agencies that were on board with this. If it's a wetland area, could you clarify if the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service has to put their name on it?
Ms. Vedder?
Chair, through you, there is a process through the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers. So there are some kind of tributary waters of the U.S., which is the reason we need to go to the Army Corps of Engineers at this point to get some permitting. And typically there is a NEPA process. We will be doing some wetlands delineation. I haven't been asked specifically to go to Game and Fish for anything at this point, but we'll do that as needed. Game and Fish has offered a tremendous amount of support in the recommendation to close down that area for bird nesting. They've offered us significant information for our educational signage, that kind of thing. But no specific permitting has been required through them.
Thank you. Mr. White?
Michael White, point of order. My understanding that through you, Mr. Chairman, all wetland areas have to be approved by the federal government or the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service. So if I'm in the wrong, I accept that I am, but could we ask staff to do more research on that? Thank you.
Yes, I don't see a problem, and I'm sure that nobody, including members of council or any city staff, want to do anything that's going to violate any fish and wildlife rules. So, Ms. Vedder, did you have anything else to add?
Yeah, Chair, if I could just clarify, that would be a requirement of the Army Corps of Engineers to make sure that we follow all those requirements.
Great, thank you. There are no other comments from the public. Do I have a motion from the committee?
I would move to approve an amount not to exceed $30,115.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Comments from the committee? All those in favor of this contract modification, please signify by saying aye.
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 No one's opposed. That item moves forward. Next item, please.
Number 19C, contract modification number 1 to contract number 7606 between the City of Cheyenne and Western Ecosystems Technology for environmental services for the Dry Creek Dredging Project, 2019 to 2022 optional 1% sales tax fund.
Staff report.
Chairman White, Tom Cobb, City Engineer. Good afternoon again. Chairman White and members of the Finance Committee. Before you, obviously, is a contract. This is a modification and is complementary to the one you just previously saw. So it's a little bit of a misnomer that it says it's just Dry Creek. So what West is doing is all our environmental clearances through the Corps, U.S. Fish and Wildlife, DEQ, et cetera, the complete package for all of our dredging projects. And we added the additional year onto their contract as well. We only did it for a one-year term originally. That's why you see the second contract modification. The amount of the contract is $72,988, and we respectfully request your approval for these professional services modification. With that, I'll take any questions you might have.
Thanks, Mr. Cobb. Stand by. Questions for Mr. Cobb? Comments from the public? Hearing none, do I have a motion from the committee?
Mr. Chairman, I would move to approve an amount not to exceed $72,988.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Comments from the committee? Hearing none, all those in favor of this contract modification, please signify by saying aye.
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 No one's opposed. That item moves forward. Next item.
Number 19D, renewal of contract number 6837 between the City of Cheyenne and Delta Dental for group dental insurance benefits for city employees from various city funds.
Staff report.
Darren Hass, Human Resources, City of Cheyenne. The recommendation is a unanimous recommendation from the Employee Benefit Committee to continue our partnership with Delta Dental. The competition is out there. Yes, we know that. And so does Delta. They've even sharpened their rates, given us a little discounted rate this year on their premiums and have raised their out of pocket. So kind of a win-win for the city employees.
Thanks, Mr. Haas. Questions for Mr. Haas? Dr. Aldrich.
Chairman White, through you. Darren, I just want to make sure that I read this correctly, that the out-of-pocket did increase to 1,750, but they were able to limit the renewal premiums or maintain that cost. Is that correct?
The premiums have dropped down a buck or two, like for employee only, it's going from $36 down to $35. And then last year, max out of pocket was $1,500. This year it's $1,750.
Great. Okay. Thank you. Thanks for your diligent work to keep those prices low.
Thank you.
Comments from the public? Hearing none. All those in favor of this, oh, sorry, I'm sorry. All those in favor of this do I have a motion from the committee?
Mr. Chairman, I would
apologize.
move to adopt.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Comments from the committee? Hearing none. All those in favor of this contract renewal, please signify by saying aye.
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 No one's opposed. That item moves forward, thankfully. Next item, please.
Number 20F, consideration of bid number S-19-23 for an agreement between the City of Cheyenne and TC Solutions for the Cheyenne Junior League Storage Facility Construction Project from Development Impact Fees and Cheyenne Community Recreation District Grant.
Staff report.
Mr. Chair, Jason Sanchez, Community Rec and Events. So this project, we're going to build a storage shed over at Junior League. It'll be pretty much identical to what we have at Powers Field. So it'll have 4 bays on it. Different users could use the bays. This will hopefully eliminate all of the storage pods we have at Junior League. The total cost for the low bid was $144,406. We did receive a grant from the rec mill for $122,470, and the balance will be paid out of our enhancement fees. And I'm available for questions.
Thanks, Jason. Staff report.
Yes.
Mr. Roybal.
Mr. Chair, do we rent these to the different users or is it something we provide?
Mr. Chair, through you, we just started this last year charging rent for those storage sheds.
Other comments or questions for Jason? Hearing none. Comments from the public? Hearing none. Do I have a motion from the committee?
I'd move to accept the bid in amount not to exceed $144,406.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Comments from the committee? Hearing none. All those in favor of this bid consideration, please signify by saying aye.
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 That item moves forward. Next item, please.
Number 20G, consideration of bid number S-21-23 for an agreement between the City of Cheyenne and Miller and Sons Construction Incorporated for the 2023 miscellaneous concrete project from 2019 to 2022 optional 1% sales tax fund.
Staff report.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman. Doug Clausen, City Construction Manager. The proposal before us today is for the 2023 miscellaneous concrete project. This project primarily focuses on various intersections through the city and is focused mainly at upgrading ADA corners, and sometimes we're able to upgrade some drainage. We did receive 4 bids for this project, with Miller and Sons being the low bidder for $1,013,150.98. This project has been reviewed by staff and it's our recommendation that we move forward with the contract process. Stand for questions.
Thank you. Stand by. Dr. Aldrich.
Chairman White, through you. Doug, it looks to me like we have one project in Ward 3 and a lot in Ward 1 and Ward 2.
Stand by. I read my list.
I'm happy with it.
I'm sure you are.
Mr. Chairman, through you. So you're not incorrect in this project having more in Ward 2 than 3 and 1. One of the things that we look at when we do these is where we sat in the past. So what did we do last year in our miscellaneous concrete in the previous year? So we try to keep a balance. We can't balance it every year. We try to localize some of these in the same area to help reduce our mobilization costs with the contractor and keep the prices down. And then another consideration that we look at is also what's going on in these wards for pavement management programs. So for example, in Ward 3, we have the a storm drain project. It's going to go down Dow Range and Van Buren. So that is right in the middle of areas that we might be looking at to improve ADA, but those upgrades will be done along with that project. Another one just off the top of my head in 3 is mill and overlay project that encompasses Rio Verde, Green River, Sullivan, and I believe a couple others. So I try to weigh all these things out so that we're still spending a fair amount of money in each ward, but it doesn't always reflect it per project.
We trust you.
Thank you.
Doug, that's a great explanation. And just for you, Dr. Aldridge, I complained about the same thing with Doug some weeks back on pavement management. And I said, gosh, Ward 3 seems to have more pavement management projects this year than Ward 1 does. What's going on with that? And so that explanation kind of clarifies both.
Not that there's any competition.
No competition whatsoever. Any other questions for Doug? Any other comments from the public? Hearing on all those in favor of this big
We need a motion.
Oh, sorry. What happened to me? I don't know. I must have gone to Vegas with Mr. Roybal. Do I have a motion from the committee?
Mr. Chairman, I would move to accept the bid in amount not to exceed $1,013,150.98.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Comments from the committee? Mr. Roybal.
Doug, what do we get for the 98 cents?
The gravel.
Can you help me out?
Yeah.
What was the answer last time?
Part of the gravel, I guess.
Me. You get me for 98
Okay.
cents.
Yeah. All those in favor of the big consideration, please signify by saying aye. That item moves forward. Next item, please.
Number 20H, consideration to purchase between the City of Cheyenne and High West Energy for installation of 3-phase power at the new Countryside and Whitney Fire Station from 2017 and 2021 specific purpose option tax fund.
Welcome, Chief. Staff report, please.
Good afternoon, Chair and Committee. I know it's been a long afternoon, so I'll be brief. John Copper, Fire Chief, Cheyenne Fire Rescue. The item you have today is consideration to purchase work request for the installation of 3-phase power to the new fire station site out there at Countryside on the east side. The work will be accomplished to extend the 3-phase commercial power to the site. It's approximately 2,600 feet from the corner of Pershing and Whitney. The cost to extend the service is $120,000 and will be taken out of 2017 and 2021 special purpose tax option. The work is going to be started before July 1st within the construction timelines established by our contractor. I respectfully request approval and I'll stand for any questions.
Thanks, Chief. Comments or questions from the committee for Chief? Comments from the public? Do I have a motion from the committee?
I would move to approve an amount not to exceed $120,000.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Comments from the committee?
Well, Mr. Chair,
Mr. Escobar.
I think Ward 3 got 3 new fire stations though.
No, I don't think so. I
get
think the
two.
one on Converse is in Ward 1.
We'll,
Technically,
we'll settle this later.
it's on the east side.
All those in favor
On
of
the
the
border.
consideration to purchase, please signify by saying aye.
I,
That item moves forward, not that there's any competition. Next item, please.
Number 22A, designation of official voting delegate and alternate delegate for the city of Cheyenne at the June 8th, 2023 Wyoming Association of Municipalities Summer Convention Business Meeting to be held in Cody, Wyoming.
Staff report.
Mr. Chair, Chris Jones, City Clerk. It's my understanding that Dr. Rennie would like to be the voting delegate and Mayor Collins would be the alternate for the annual business meeting, and I'd stand for any questions.
Stand by, Chris. Any questions for Chris? Hearing none, comments from the public? Hearing none, do I have a motion from the committee?
would so move.
It's been moved and seconded. Comments from the committee? I believe we have a couple of other members of the governing body who will be attending this as well. But all those in favor of this designation, please signify by saying aye.
I,
That item moves forward. There are no other items on our agenda. I want to thank everybody. I don't know how we got through in an hour. It feels like it's been 2 hours, but I appreciate everybody's help today. Thanks and have a great day.